Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, 'Tis the Old Ship of Zion. Tis the old ship of Zion. Tis the old ship of Zion. Tis the old ship of Zion. Get on board. Get on board. 'Tis the old ship of Zion. 'Tis the old ship of Zion. 'Tis the old ship of Zion. Get on board. Get on board. It has landed many a thousand. It has landed many a thousand. It has landed many a thousand. Get on board. Get on board. There's no danger in the water. There's no danger in the water. There's no danger in the water. Get on board. Get on board. It will take you home to glory. It will take you home to glory. It will take you home to glory. Get on board. Get on board. 'Tis the old ship of Zion. 'Tis the old ship of Zion. 'Tis the old ship of Zion. Get on board. 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 Get on board.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the HaMashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you up on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame, and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Today is somewhat of an anomaly. This is the only way that December 25th is going to be holy. Is if it fall on the Sabbath. That's it. You have to consider something. More lies have been told on this day than any other day in history. This is the day that the most lies are told. Yahweh has commandments talking about we shall not bear false witness. Yet all of these people believe that they are holy, and they are lying through their teeth right now as we gather together. They have told about 10 lies before 8 a.m. Remember that old commercial? They talk about the army. We have done more about 6 a.m. than most people do all day. They done told more lies by 7 a.m. than most people have lied all year. And that lie is reoccurring. Every time they see another kid, they got to start over the lie again. And everybody know they lying. And then they turn around and recycle the lie the next year until the kid get old enough to realize that they lying. And then they instruct those kids, don't you ruin it for your little brother. I'm trying to tell him good, clean, wholesome lies, and you keep interfering. Don't ruin it for him. That's imagine that. This is the only day where telling the truth is labeled ruining it. Consider that. Now, Hova means ruin, mischief, and calamity. When you tell the truth, they say you are ruining it for the kids. Check that out. You have to consider how wicked something has to be for it to be called ruin when you tell the truth. So when you don't lie like they lie, then something must be wrong with you. And that's something that we're going to have to consider. So, I ain't telling y'all to, go get in trouble on your jobs, but they're going to ask you, how was your holiday? Well, my Sabbath was wonderful. And going on about your business. Going on about your business. Leave that where that is. Drop that right there and move on. Matter of fact, you need to be saying it in passing. All right? How was your holiday? My Sabbath was wonderful. You need to be already walking away. Already walking away. Don't, I ain't telling you to go in there and start nothing. But do understand. All right? This is the only way it will ever be holy. All right? Now, our most common misconception about Yahweh and how he works is that we believe that he will keep everything from happening to us. But when we examine the volume of the book, we find that he allows us to experience things and justifies us according to our survival of the very incident that appeared as if it would have overtaken us. As it is written, when you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned. Not if you walk through the fire, but when you walk through the fire. Yahweh didn't keep Daniel from being thrown into the lion's den. Yahweh caused him to walk out in one piece from the lion's den. Let's begin today's sermon in Isaiah chapter 43. And today's sermon is entitled, The Justified Healing of Yah. See, there's so many ways that we need healing. I mean, we need healing as a nation of people. We need healing in our families. We need healing in several different areas. What causes us the issue is when Yahweh brings those things to light, whether or not we're going to deal with them and accept them. See, Yahweh brings something to light for us to deal with it. But at that point, this is where we get tender and start trying to act as though we don't have an issue. We're very good at that. I've heard several of my Jamaican friends say that it is part of their culture that if there's something wrong with one of the family members, the Jamaican families that just hide that family member. They act like they don't see what's wrong with that family member. You may know somebody for 5-6 years and all of a sudden, Uncle Junebug come out the back. Where the hell he come from? I've been here 5 years. I ain't never seen Junebug. Who's that? Go on back in now. Get back in now, Junebug. Get your sandwich. Go on back in the back. I've been knowing this dude 10 years. I've been coming over this house 5. You mean that dude been in that room 5 years? And then they just act like you didn't see it.
So you still want to go to the mall?
No, I want to talk about who that dude that just came out that door. See, that's why I don't let my kids just go over everybody's house. Because, see, some people got an Uncle Junebug that they ain't told you about. See? And then you let your kids go over there, and then Junebug come out the back. See, ain't nobody told you Junebug was over there. Junebug live there. Now your kid come back home. Yeah, Uncle Junebug did some crazy stuff. Who the hell is Uncle Junebug, baby? He was over Kid's house. He was locked in the back. Yeah, me and Kid's gonna have to have a talk. We gotta figure out who the hell Uncle Junebug is and how long he been in that back room. Let's begin Isaiah 43, verse 1.
But now thus says Yahweh that created you, O Jacob, and he that formed you, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I'll be with you. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire,
not if. So the fairy tale that is being told to us is just like the lies that's being told right now to those children. God gonna protect you from everything, baby. No, some of that stuff, he was the one that sent it to you. He was the one that said, hey, go beat up Esaac. Why you want me to touch you as your servant? Yeah, he gonna be a better servant after you kick him all around the room in there. I need him to fight better. See, he need to learn that his right cross ain't that good. He gonna learn it when you beating him. So go and beat him. He gonna be better after this beating. And we would say that, that's harsh. But if he gotta prepare you to fight Lucifer, it's really harsh if he don't cause you to get beat up every now and then. Cause you gonna get tore up. When Lucifer come to swing, you better learn how to fight. Go ahead.
You shall not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon you. For I am Yahweh your El, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. I gave Egypt for your ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for you. Since you was precious in my sight, you have been honorable, and I have loved you. Therefore will I give men for you and people for your life.
Right. All you have to do is just look around in the Word. Some of the very people who introduced you to the Word ain't even in the Word no more. Their only job was to bring you. They did their job. Go ahead.
Fear not, for I am with you. I'll bring your seed from the east and gather you from the west. I'll say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far and my daughters from the ends of the earth. Even everyone that is called by my name. For I have created him for my glory. I have formed him. Yes, I have made him.
Do we ever sit and really consider that you were formed to get glory for Yahweh? You know, we spend our entire lives trying to get fame and glory for ourselves. And it never does occur to us that you were created to bring forth glory unto him. Go ahead.
Bring forth the blind people that have eyes and the deaf that have ears.
You can't get any deeper than that when you talk about Israel. We will proclaim how smart we are on one hand, and then do the dumbest thing you ever seen in your life on the other hand. Blind people who have eyes. Proclaim how intelligent we are, and then do something so incredibly ignorant. And then act like we don't understand when we did it. Well, wait a minute, you just told me how smart you were. Then when you did something stupid, all of a sudden you don't remember? You don't understand? Go ahead.
Verse 9. Let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled. Who among them can declare this, and show us former things? Let them bring forth their witnesses, that they may be justified. Or let them hear and say, it is truth. You are my witnesses, says Yahweh, and my servant whom I have chosen, that you may know and believe me, and understand that I am he. Before me there was no Elohim formed, neither shall there be after me. I, even I, am Yahweh, and beside me there is no Savior.
Right. If you are Yahweh's witnesses, you have to understand what the adversary, the devil, has to do to you. What do we see every time an unarmed man gets shot in the street? They start talking about everything that brother has done wrong. Now the brother dead. Brother had no weapon. Police shot him down. All of a sudden now we hear about every wrong thing that he's done in the past. Instead of, no, let's talk about the night he got shot. Let's not talk about the 10, 15 years of what he did before that incident. So what are they trying to do? Discredit his witness. What do you think the adversary of the devil trying to do to you? If you are his witness, then he needs to discredit the witness. How you get off on the case? The witness says, all right, this is Yahweh. Lucifer got to come and say, all right, let's discredit the witness. Let's bring up everything wrong that this witness has done. And some of that stuff going to throw you off, because some of that stuff you done forgot you did. You're going to be in the midst of denying it. I didn't.
Wait a minute. Damn, I did do that. I did that. Matter of fact, I did that twice. Okay, you know what? Never mind.
Now, you have low self-esteem as a witness. That's what the adversary want. Instead of you saying, no, hold on, I was born again. After that. Yeah, I did that. I did that twice. I was planning on doing it the third time, but then I got born again though. Okay? Yeah, I did that. Now what? Go ahead.
I have declared and have saved. and I have showed when there was no strange God among you. Therefore you are my witnesses, says Yahweh, that I am El. Yes, before the day was, I am He, and there's none that can deliver out of my hand. I will work, and who shall let it? Thus says Yahweh, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. For your sake I have sent to Babylon, and have brought down their nobles, and the Chaldeans whose cries in the ships.
Right. For your sake, Yahweh is going to knock this nation down. For your sake, he's going to do all those things. Go ahead.
I am Yahweh, your Holy One, the Creator of Israel, your King. Thus says Yahweh, which makes a way in the sea, and a path in the mighty waters, which brings forth the chariot and horse, the army and the power. They shall lie down together. They shall not rise. They're extinct. They are quenched as tow. Remember you not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I'll do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. The beasts of the field shall honor me, the dragons and the owls, because I give waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert to give drink to my people, my chosen. This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise.
They shall show forth my praise. I have formed them for myself. Do we consider that? When we realize that we have a gift, it never does occur to us that that gift is supposed to be formulated in a way that it should bring Yahweh some glory. See, being in the so-called land of opportunity, we've tried to figure out how our gift can make us money. Think about what it says. It says that they were the sons of Elohim. They saw the daughters of men and chose all who they liked. Not righteous women, just women who look good. And then their children became children of renown. What happened? They took the spiritual gift and made it natural. Instead of using the gifts that they were given to glorify the Elohim, they used the gifts that they received to glorify themselves. So they took Yahweh's substance and used it for whatever they want to. And we see the same thing today. And people swear they not robbing Yahweh, their Elohim. Yeah, you're robbing him because he's the one that gave you the gift. And he's getting absolutely no glory out of the use of that gift. All the use of that gift, the glory from it, is given unto you. We don't consider that at all. Let's go to Acts chapter 28. Acts 28, and we're going to read verses 1 through 10. When you talk about Yahweh coming to bring down the nobles of all these other nations, you have to consider all the things that our people have endured here. You know, in the 80s, crack showed up, and so did automatic weapons. You got people that were fighting with bats, and then all of a sudden, you know, a Uzi got dropped off on one side of the street and an AK-47 on the other. You have to consider, think about the things that you hear associated with gangbanging. You hear two things the most: an Uzi and an AK-47. I've been spelling Uzi my whole life wrong because that was a man's name, Uziel. That's Israeli. Okay? So an Israeli gun was dropped off on one side of the street and an AK-47 on the other. AK-47 is Russian. So an Israeli gun was dropped off on one side of the street. An AK-47 was dropped off on the other side of the street. And then crack was put in the middle. We ain't got no planes. Ain't no planes in South Central. Somebody dropped off all that so we kill each other. Who you know went to Israel and brought back a Uzi? Who you know went back to Russia and brought back an AK-47? All of a sudden, the neighborhood is flooded with these things. What you think they're going to do? If your enemy just got a Uzi given to him, and then you look and there's an AK-47, you think you ain't going to pick the AK-47 up? Hey, man, that dude that just got something that I'm used to stuff going pow, pow. James down the street got something that went got 15 people. No. Hey, what's this right here? All of a sudden, all of these things are everywhere. We ain't went nowhere and got them. How they just magically show up? But it's the same trick that they did in Israel. The West went in, de-armed the so-called Palestinians, gave these people who they got out of Germany all the weapons, taught them how to fight, and then announced the day that they were leaving. All right, we're leaving on the 15th. What you think happened on the 17th? They had 1 day apiece.
And said we're going to rest on 16. 17, we killing all of them.
They ain't got nothing but rocks and sticks. This is why to this day, you see the Palestinians throwing a rock or a homemade missile or something that they done made in somebody's garage, but Israel has missiles that's going across, going through neighborhoods, turning, going upside down, boom, and then hit. They got all that stuff from America and Britain. They gave them all the weapons. What did you think? They set up the slaughter. You left these people with rocks and sticks, and these people have automatic weapons. Of course you said. Then they try to act like they're gonna cause peace.
What happened here? We want peace in the Middle East.
You the one started this. What you talking about? You wanted peace. You left these people with bombs and automatic weapons, and left these people with rocks. And you got to be ticked off to throw a rock at a tank. You got to be really angry, because you know that ain't gonna do nothing with that damn tank, right? All you gonna get is the satisfaction of hearing, bing. That's it. That is the high point of your satisfaction. That's it. Bing. That's it. You're not gonna hurt no tank with no rock, man. But they're angry after seeing their people get shot down in the middle of the street like it's nothing. And the West get to act like they didn't start any of that. So when Yahweh comes, he's coming for old and new. Because the same thing that happened to us, they've done all around the earth. And then they act like they don't understand why China is off in Africa. They done watched all the stuff that the West has done, and now they're doing it in Africa. Going, giving them high-priced loans, knowing that they can't pay it back, then they taking possession of their natural resources through the loan that they knew they weren't going to be able to pay back. Same problem we face here. We get a loan, our interest rate 5 times higher than everybody else's, hoping that we lose the house. Even talk us into getting houses we can't afford.
Yeah, you can get that $5,000 house. You can get that.
Dude makes $785 an hour. They done talked him into getting a $500,000 house. He ain't gonna have it but a few months. But understand the way that game works. That house get fully paid off when you get the loan. They can keep selling the same house. Then they take the house from you, sell the same house again. Take the house from that dude, sell the same house again. They are selling the same houses over and over and over. Most people gotta keep getting something new. They're not getting anything new. They just keep reselling the same stuff. So then when they talk us into that, yeah, you've been approved for $500,000. You better not do it. You better not do it.
Sure, I can do this. You know, all I got to do is, if I eat rice and beans for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know what I'm saying? And maybe for a snack, I'll put some gravy on it.
They're setting you up for destruction. They are hoping you lose that house. You got to think about it, man. If you keep getting the full payment off the same product, it's one thing to sell 10 houses. But you got to think about the hustle of selling one house 10 times. Oh my God, how can you beat that hustle? You just sold the same house. You mean the same house? Like this house, 4219 Wichita Drive. You just sold this house 10 times, is what you telling me? Yeah. Because every time we sell it, we're waiting for that dude to lose it. And as soon as he loses it, we're going to snatch it back up, and then we're going to sell it again. And they put out little reports of who all late on their payments. So the vultures just be flying around your house. You're like, who the hell these people keep coming around here? Right. They got the report that came out. See, pre-foreclosure list.
And they look, oh yeah. So let's drive by this house here. Let's look at it. Oh yes.
Some of them even come by and talk to you.
How you doing? Yeah, we're gonna own this. We're gonna own this. So your name on that list.
I mean, you either 3 months behind or close to it. They finna get it. And then, if that person been in that house 10 years, it's even more lucrative. Because now they're going to take the equity that you got. You got 10 years worth of equity. They don't give you that equity back. They use that in the flip. So when Yahweh come, people going to think it's unfair. Because they don't know he been counting. Check. Check. And when he come, and you got 50 charges, one thing for sure. When you read and see a cat got 50 charges, know he not coming home. Because they don't need but one of them charges to give you jail time. Okay? Well, understand what Yahweh does. When he know he dealing with the wicked, don't stop him. Let him keep going. He don't need but one of them charges to stick. And they gonna stick. Go ahead, brother. Acts chapter 28. Let's read verses 1 through 10.
And when they were escaped, then they knew that the island was called Malta. And the barbarous people showed us no little kindness, for they kindled a fire and received us every one, because of the present rain and because of the cold. And when Saul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid them on the fire, there came a viper out of the heat and fastened on his hand.
Now, the first thing you have to read, it says they were escaped. Then they knew that the island was called Malta. So already there's a survival of being on this ship and the problems that were happening there. Now he just got bit by a snake. Go ahead.
And when the barbarians saw the venomous beast hang on his hand, they said among themselves, "No doubt this man is a murderer, whom, though he has escaped the sea, yet vengeance suffers not to live."
Right. So they already seen one thing, man. He done survived the sea, but then that snake, and these people know, what kind of snakes are poisonous. So now this venomous snake hit him. They're just sitting around. Oh, he finna die in a minute. Go ahead.
And he shook off the beast into the fire and felt no harm. Howbeit they looked when he should have swollen or fallen down dead suddenly.
Right, because they know what the poison does. Okay? This is a well-known thing. You know what a poisonous snake look like. You know when this person get bit from it. At this point, he done shook the thing off and kept on going about his business. So they looking at him, and they counting the minutes. Go ahead.
But after they had looked a great while and saw no harm come to him, they changed their minds and said that he was a god.
Now pause. Now they recognize him as a god. Now he not a blessed man. He done went from a murderer to a god. You see how fast people's mind will change about you? He went from a murderer to a god, which this is far extremes on each side. He went to each extreme in a matter of minutes. Because they're watching and he's supposed to be done fell down dead. And the longer they keep waiting, they know, hey, we done seen people get bit by that snake before. Them people don't live long. So after they have examined this thing, they see that no harm has come to him. So then you got to pause for a second. Everything that we see that happens to us bad, we then turn around and say the adversary, the devil, did it. But who got glory out of that situation? So who let the snake bite him? See, we don't say, we get bit by a snake. Ooh, praise Yah. No, we like that damn devil. The devil done made one of his little snakes. You know he was a snake. You know what I mean? One of his snakes bite me. Yahweh told the snake to bite him. Because Yahweh finna get some glory when that poison don't do you no harm. And everybody else that done seen get bit by that snake, fall down, die, start foaming at the mouth. He keep going on about his business. So we need to stop giving the credit to the adversary after everything that is supposedly bad happens to us. Especially if Yahweh gets the glory after the fact. You have to ask yourself, then who allowed that? Go ahead.
In the same quarters were possessions of the chief man of the island, whose name was Publius, who received of us and lodged us 3 days courteously. And it came to pass that the father of Publius lay sick of a fever and of a bloody flux, to whom Saul entered in and prayed and laid his hands on him and healed him. So when he was done, others also, which had diseases in the island, came and were healed.
Now look, this is the same one that they thought was a murderer. Now other people coming. Go ahead.
Who also honored us with many honors. And when we departed, they laded us with such things as were necessary.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 13. See, the one thing you have to learn about that is how feeble the acceptance of man is. Man's acceptance changes by the minute. So if you are attempting to please men, you are going to have you a serious job ahead of yourself. Yahweh has already shown us what pleases him. It doesn't change. What pleases man changes. Man will be pleased by something you did on Monday. You do that same thing on Tuesday. All of a sudden, they're not pleased. Yeah, but this made you happy yesterday. You told me this is what you like.
Well, I like that on Monday. I don't like that on Tuesdays.
What? What is wrong with you?
I'm a man.
Oh, okay. Right, that explains it. Matthew chapter 13, and let's start with verses 1 through 9.
The same day went Yahshua out of the house and sat by the seaside. And great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow.
Now, people are so-called gathered together for Christ's birthday, but it's the very things that you read that the Mashiach stated that will cause them people to throw you out of their house right now today. They say they gathered together for his birthday. Go in anybody's house and start reading this stuff in the red. After they throw you out, the tree gonna come behind you. The tree gonna land on your head when they throw you out of there. I thought you said y'all was gathered together out of love for Christ.
Yeah, but we don't want to hear his words. Don't be saying those words in here.
Oh, you love him. You just don't want to hear him talk. Oh, okay. Right. That's some strange love right there. Go ahead.
And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up.
Right. We watch this all the time. You watch people receive the word, and then they hang out with them fowls, and them fowls devour that word out of them. Yeah. Go ahead.
Some fell upon stony places, where they had not much earth. And forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them.
Right. But see, we hang out with the thorns. See? We don't have a situation where thorns spring up and choke us. You have verified fruit that go over there by the thorns and then get choked out. The thorns like, you came to us. We didn't come looking for you. Go ahead.
But other fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Who has ears to hear, let him hear.
Jump to verse 18.
Hear you therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and understands it not, then comes the wicked one, and catches away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which receives seed by the wayside.
Now, please do not think that the adversary of the devil is going to show up in a red suit looking like Suge Knight with a pitchfork and a tail. You receive the word, it might be the most beautiful thing that you ever seen that come and whisper in your ear. You will not surely die. That's the devil. You don't recognize the devil by how he or she looks. You recognize the devil by the doctrine that proceeds out of its mouth. So if you're looking for a type, you done already missed the devil. He already 4-5 steps in, because you looking for a type. He already done slid past your protection point. You don't even know he in there, because you looking for one thing. You're not looking for the most beautiful being you've ever seen. Because that's how the adversary, the devil, is described. Absolutely beautiful. You're not looking for beautiful. Go ahead.
But he that received the seed into the stony places, the same is he that hears the word, and anon with joy receive it. Yet has he not root in himself.
He doesn't have root in himself. You can't plant something that don't, if it don't have enough space for the roots to actually spread out, then the growth of that particular thing is hindered. When you first start something that's in a pot this big, then as it grows, you got to change it to a pot this big. Then you got to change it to a pot this big. Then you can go ahead and put it in the ground where it'll have unlimited real estate to spread out its roots and grow. But what we do is put ourselves in situations where we're still in the little container you get from the store. And we keep talking, I've been in the word a long time. It just don't seem like I'm growing. Yeah, you in the wrong container. See? You got something around you that's not letting your roots spread out. What is that? See? And normally it's the thing that we cling to. Not the thing that's clinging to us, the thing that we are clinging to. Go ahead.
You know, brother, one thing about root, we don't even understand the strength of roots. Roots will tear up pipes underground.
Sure
roots will tear up your foundation because it needs to move.
Sure will. That's why they tell you some of them trees have to be cut down. Hey, them roots would just be like, move, brick. This thing just knocked my brick out. We think brick's strong. You look and see a tree and the tree grow all crazy. What's that tree doing? That tree looking for the light. Got a tree that grew and then it turned this way and went, because that's where the sun was coming in. So the tree started growing that way. The tree just changed direction. It grew up straight for a little while, but then it couldn't get the sun. Let me go that way. Go ahead, brother.
It made me think about on sidewalks how it busts up the sidewalk just for a little flower just to grow through the concrete.
Because it's enough dirt that stay there for the little bit to take root. But once it hit the rest of that concrete, it can't grow no more. So it's just going to be a little bit sticking through that little part. Hey, you see somebody ain't cleaned their gutters in a long time. They got trees growing out them gutters. But it ain't going to go only as far as the gutter's going to let it spread out. So whatever is blocking that root from setting in, it's going to stunt your growth. It's going to do the same thing in the word. You want to grow in the word, but you got these people that you have held close to your heart. Every time you go around them people, they're gonna cut off your roots. And some of them people your family. And they can't wait to remind you of every bad thing that you've ever done. You know, I'm in the word now.
Well, I remember when you used to shoot up houses and all that kind of stuff. You know, where was God then?
He was still around. I just didn't know him. See, they're trying to cut off your roots. Some of them deal with you better as a person not seeking after righteousness. Because when you're seeking after righteousness, it puts a light on what they're not doing. It's not really about you. It's about you are shedding light on them. See, when everybody drunk, ain't nobody worried. But when one person ain't drunk,
hey man, what's wrong with him? You know, all us stumbling, but he's not stumbling. So if he decide to like beat us up, y'all know we're gonna lose, right? He the only one that know where both his hands at. See, it's about their vulnerability. Now they're vulnerable because you have done some things right. See? The person who decided to put on a see-through outfit, that sister don't feel no shame as long as she around everybody else who's scantily clad. But once she get around the first righteously dressed sister, then she want to pull the shirt that's supposed to be a skirt, gonna keep pulling it down. Sweetie, that shirt ain't gonna go no lower than that right now. You made sure that shirt wouldn't go no lower. Ain't no need of pulling it down now because you see a sister dressed the way she's supposed to be dressed. But now she feel uncomfortable. Oh, I feel underdressed.
You knew you was underdressed before you left the house. No, you feel underdressed because somebody properly dressed is there. Now you feel underdressed. That's what that's about. It's not about you. It's really about them. They just transfer that to you. And if you don't know no better, you keep letting them drop that off at your door. No, pick that up, take that back. That's yours. You're not going to give me a low self-esteem in the word because you feel some kind of way. Pick that up. That's yours. Take that back with you. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Yet has he not rooted himself, but endures for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arise because of the word, by and by he's offended.
Right. It would do some justice to go ahead and get offended in the first week. Because it's absolutely horrible for somebody to spend 10, 20 years in the word, then get offended, and then lose their salvation because they feeling got hurt. It'd been better off for you to get your feelings hurt first week. Then you can hurry up and go back to what you were doing. At least you'll have a good time on your way to the lake of fire. Go ahead.
He also that receives seed among the thorns is he that hears the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becomes unfruitful.
Right, I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta do that. You know, I was gonna go to church, but you know, I just remembered. I gotta do such and such. Oh, I gotta do this, you know. Oh, and I got to do this. You know, I can't really give no money to church because I got to go do this other thing. When you count all the stuff that we do unrighteously, it is absolutely amazing the money we'll spend. We'll go 3 states up and spend $2,000 for a damn dog. Then come and put $1.26 in church.
And talking about, Yahweh, have I not kept your commandments?
Look at this fool right here. You just drove 3 states up and spent $2,000 on a dog. Then the dog run them.
I gotta hurry up and get back home, cause you know my dog is thirsty.
Okay, so Yahweh's Sabbath ain't really a Sabbath because you gotta go back to see about your dog. So now you done already spent $2,000 on the dog. Now the dog dictates how you keep the Sabbath. We forget the dog is a dog.
You know it's cold out there. I gotta go, and I gotta go put my dog on this sweater.
Your dog gonna get beat up by other dogs. They gonna be like, look at this fool with the sweater on. And we jumping that fool as soon as they pull off. That fool with this sweater on. Dog like, oh, you gonna kill this fool, yeah. Go ahead, bro.
But he that receives seed in the good ground is he that hears the word and understands it, which also bears fruit and brings forth, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way.
So some people were sent to learn the word by Yahshua. Others were sent by the adversary of the devil. We assume that everybody come for the same reason, for the same purpose. Some people came for the word, other people just came to hang out. There's some that manifest themselves right away, others it takes a while for you to see that. Go ahead.
But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, did not you sow good seed in your field? From whence then has it tares? He said unto them, An enemy has done this. The servants say unto him, Will you then that we go and gather them up? But he said, No, lest while you gather up the tares, you root up also the wheat with them.
Right, because what happened is the wheat has attached itself to the tares. Physically, naturally, the tares attach itself to the wheat. Spiritually, it's us that attach ourselves to the tares. We attach to the tares. This is my friend. Your friend is wicked. This is my husband, my wife. Yeah, well, your spouse is wicked. I don't know what to tell you. We attach to those things. Now, those things that we are attached to then choke the word out of us. When I first stopped keeping this Wicked Liars Day that people are celebrating today, you know, I would hear family members,
I feel sorry for your children.
you feel sorry for my children? Why you feel sorry for my children?
This is a joyous occasion. And everybody, all the kids are having fun, and they're enjoying their gifts, and your kids are probably sad.
My kids not sad at all. See, all that stuff, they got that same stuff. I just didn't lie to them and tell them that Santa gave it to them. I'm sorry, I get that mixed up. Satan, Santa, it's pretty much the same word. You know what I'm saying? Just you know what I'm saying? It's the same word. You just lied to yours and said that this person got it. No, I need for my kid to know. Hey. Hey, let me explain something. Okay. I'm going to explain this right here. I ain't going to explain it. I'm going to explain this right here. You see it right here? I bought this. Pick that up out the floor, boy. Yes. What's wrong with you? Ain't no mystical creature came down the chimney. We ain't got no damn chimney. I paid for this. Now pick this up. How can you rightfully fuss at your kid if Santa Claus gave it to him? You sounding a little too involved there, mama. Pick this up. You know how much this stuff cost?
How much I don't know. Never mind. I was just saying Santa probably paid a lot of money for it.
Right. See, that happened when your lies start crossing up. Then you got to remember a lie. See, you get mad and then the truth jump out. Now you got to tuck the truth back in. Truth, get back in there. Don't come out of here. Get in there. And hear the truth jump out of here. Right. Go ahead, brother.
We didn't have to wait for December 25th to give our kids gifts. Our kids are getting gifts throughout the year.
Right.
Verse 30.
No, not at all. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 30. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I'll say to the reapers, gather you together first the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them.
Right. So the tares gather together. My elder used to say, I know it's a schism going on. Don't stop it yet. Let it go on long enough so all the people that are sympathetic to it gather together. That way you can get rid of all of them at the same time. Let the tares gather together. So when you see and you recognize that there's an evil tare, see who all start to gravitate toward the tare. Go ahead.
But gather the wheat into my barn.
Jump to verse 36.
Then Yahshua sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said unto them, He that sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one.
Right. Lucifer got children. So it's the sons of Elohim against the sons of Satan. Are we preparing ourselves for the spiritual war that has to take place? Go ahead.
The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burnt in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do lawlessness, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire.
Right. So when I say they gather together to get thrown in the lake of fire, see, people think those my words. No. Them his words. The same person who they gathered together to lying on right now. He the one that says, and then he says, them that do iniquity. What's iniquity? Lawlessness. The commandment says you shall not bear false witness. All of them lying right now. They telling lies right now. But see, when you say you telling them lies, you're going to end up in the lake of fire, they got a problem. Go ahead and read Go to your Christmas party and read this one right here. The Son of Man shall send. These are words in red. So this is the Messiah, the one y'all supposed to be celebrating. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do lawlessness, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth.
Get out of this Christmas party, you devil!
See that? You become the devil. At a gathering made for devils, you become the devil by saying the truth. Check that out. Go ahead, brother.
Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father.
Yeah, they're going to shine after they get thrown out of that Christmas party, though. Go ahead.
Who has ears to hear, let him hear.
Right. Let's go to our Hosea chapter 4. Yeah, they're going to throw you out first. Because that truth, if you ever want to get yourself some problem, all you got to do is tell the truth. That's all you got to do. You ain't got to do no whole bunch of stuff. You ain't got to be looking for no whole bunch of stuff. Just tell the truth. Watch how fast they get you up out of that situation. All of a sudden, you have offended this person. You have offended that person. How was all this offensive? It was too much truth. You have to look at how many people Yahshua offended. He offended a lot of people. Only those that couldn't handle the truth. Hosea chapter 4, and let's start at verse 1.
Hear the word of Yahweh, you children of Israel. For Yahweh has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth.
No truth. Right off the rip. What does he have a problem with? No truth. They gather together in lying and tell you that you a devil because you not telling the same lie. Go ahead.
Nor mercy, nor knowledge of Elohim in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery.
All the things that are in the law. What did Yahshua say? He said all of them which do lawlessness. Here, they're just mentioning the laws. Swearing, lying, killing, stealing, and committing adultery. People will go and sleep with somebody else's wife and then come and brag to you about it. They ain't even ashamed. Yeah, you said something over there. Yeah. She married him, man. I just was over there with her yesterday. Oh, that seemed cool to you? They don't even know to be ashamed. Go ahead.
They break out, and blood touches blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwells therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of the heaven. Yes, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away.
You see what sin not dealt with causes? This is the part that we don't understand, and we think that we're going to have like this, we think that we can be neutral.
You know, I'm not going to pick left or right. I'm just going to walk in the middle, and everybody going to love me. The evil going to love me. The good people going to love me. I'm just going to be loved all over because I will not take a stand.
Listen. Verse 3. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwells therein. Once you don't fix the stuff that's done in a place, now the curse comes upon the place. So by not dealing with it, now everybody got to deal with it. That's the part that people don't get. You think you escaping it. What you have done is made all of us deal with it. Go ahead.
Yet let no man strive, nor reprove another, for your people are as they that strive with the priests.
Right. We don't listen to any authority. It's amazing. We sat up in those Christian churches and was lied to for decades and never opened our mouth. We come into the truth and we got all kind of stuff to say. Why you ain't say that when you was down there with Klepto? Go ahead.
Therefore shall you fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with you in the night. and I'll destroy your mother. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge.
Right. Not that you don't have knowledge, you just wouldn't receive it. When somebody just was sent to give it to you, you decided you wasn't going to adhere to that knowledge because you like foolishness better. See, we got them itching ears where we desire to hear something new. So the truth becomes boring. No, you know what? I want to hear something spectacular, some miraculous stories. You know? Go ahead.
I will also reject you, that you shall be no priest to me. Seeing that you have forgotten the law of your Elohim, I will also forget your children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me.
You see? Sometimes the more money we get, the worse off we become. When you look at our people as a whole, we were more of family during slavery than we are with all these nice castles we have. And then we argue about the castle. This castle ain't big enough. It's 2 of y'all in a 5-bedroom. How much bigger the castle need to be? I need a room for my rooms. Okay. Go ahead.
Therefore will I change their glory into shame. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart onto their lawlessness. And there shall be, like people, like priests, and I'll punish them for their ways and reward them their doings. For they shall eat and not have enough. They shall commit whoredom and shall not increase.
They shall eat and not have enough. No matter how much I give them, it ain't going to be enough. Go ahead.
Because they have left off to take heed to Yahweh. Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart. My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declareth unto them.
They ask counsel at their stocks. A stock's a piece of wood. So they done made an idol out of wood, then go ask the wooden idol to counsel them on the situation that they are in. Please tell me, oh great piece of timber. Oh, thou great cedar. Oh, thou great. That smelleth great. Right. Go ahead.
For the spirit of whoredoms has caused them to err, and they have gone a whoring from under their el. They sacrifice upon the tops of the mountains and burn incense upon the hills, under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery.
Now, pay attention to what Yahweh is saying. All right. He gives the punishment in a like manner of the things that you have done wrong. So, because you have committed spiritual adultery, I'm going to let your daughters and your wives commit adultery. So that maybe you might understand what it is you're doing to me. Go ahead.
I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses when they commit adultery.
Right.
For themselves are separated with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore the people that does not understand shall fall.
Right. Maybe you might be able to see how horrible this is when I bring it in your house. So what we'll do, we'll see something come in our house, and instead of us dealing with it and seeing that that's what we've done to Yahweh, we just think, you know what, I'm just going to go to another church. Whatever church you go to, you still took that same old damaged heart, and you're going to do the same thing when you get there. And then the same thing when you get to the place that you go to after that. Until you fix what's inside. Go ahead.
Though you, Israel, play the harlot, yet let not Yehuda offend, and come not you unto Gilgal. Neither go you up to Beth Aven, nor swear, Yahweh lives. For Israel slides back as a backsliding heifer. Now Yahweh will feed them as a lamb in a large place. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone.
Sometimes folks are so far gone that you just got to leave them alone. See, at some point you have to realize when you're casting your pearls among swine that all they're going to do is turn around and then rend you. Go ahead.
Their drink is sour. They have committed whoredom continually.
You see that? Continually. Back up. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone. Then you get their drink is sour. They have committed whoredom continually. Your words of wisdom ain't gonna help them. Go ahead.
Her rulers with shame do love give you. The wind has bound her up in her wings, and they shall be ashamed because of their sacrifices.
All right, let's go to our 2 Samuel chapter 6. Second Samuel chapter 6, and let's read verses 16 through 23.
And as the ark of Yahweh came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through a window and saw King David leaping and dancing before Yahweh.
Now you have to understand that Saul was trying to give David a snare to get him killed anyway. He gave him a unreasonable dowry price, you know, to go get 100 foreskins or something of the Philistines. Mm-hmm. That mean not all, you know, that you got to go kill. First of all, Philistines was some very large warrior dudes. Okay, so to go and actually kill 100 of them is, you know, most people ask for a dowry of sheep and goats. He had to go and kill 100 people for this gift, this dowry gift, and he came back with double that amount. Mm-hmm. But it was an agreement made to get him killed. So you have to remember that this is the snare wife. See? Go ahead.
And she despised him in her heart. And they brought in the ark of Yahweh and set it in his place in the midst of the tabernacle that David had pitched for it. And David offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before Yahweh. And as soon as David had made an end of offering burnt offerings and peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of Yahweh of hosts. And he dealt among all the people, even among the whole multitude of Israel, as well to the women as men, to everyone a cake of bread and a good piece of flesh and a flagon of wine. So all the people departed, everyone to his house. So
he made sure that everyone was merry in this situation. Not just passing out wine among the chief houses. Go ahead.
Then David returned to bless his household. And Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, "How glorious was the king of Israel today."
Okay, so you already hear the sarcasm in it, right? So that one thing a man can tell way off when your wife is speaking to you sarcastically. Normally, you know, like I know I'm in trouble when my whole name come out.
Hello, Esaac ben Israel.
What the hell I done now? I know I'm in trouble when you know what I'm saying, and then they pronounce every part, every syllable. Ben Israel. It's gonna be a long night. Go ahead, bro.
Who uncovered himself today in the eyes of the handmaidens of his servants, as one of the vain fellows shamefully uncovers himself. And David said unto Michal, "It was before Yahweh, which chose me before your father, and before all his house, to appoint me ruler over the people of Yahweh, over Israel. Therefore will I play before Yahweh. And I will yet be more vile than dust, and will be base in mine own sight. And of the maidservants which you have spoken of them shall I be had an honor."
Right. The very ones that you talking about, those are the ones that's going to see me with honor. Go ahead.
Therefore Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no child unto the day of her death.
Now consider that. Because of the negative part that she has toward her husband, she's not able to reproduce because of her attitude toward him. People don't consider nothing like that. People won't even consider that. No. It's your attitude toward your husband that caused you. Understand, this man got like about 18, 19 kids. But ain't nothing came from her. See, those are things that we will look past, and we don't consider it is written, you shall not revile the gods nor curse the ruler of your people. When we get into personal, little situations, we kind of forget the job of that individual. Like, yeah, that was her husband, but that's also the ruler of his people. You kind of have to keep that in context. See, Miriam saw Moshe as her brother. She didn't understand you are cursing the ruler of your people. You don't really understand what his job is. See, you have gotten so familiar with him because this is your brother, you have kind of forgot what his job is. See, she is familiar with this man. This is her husband, but you kind of forgot what his job is. Go ahead.
You always talk about certain fights you have to have. Was Dawid a handpicked brother, this fight wouldn't have happened. But you see, he even went down and brought her daddy into it. No, we're going to have this fight. And you're going to deal with it as it is.
Right. Them henpecked brothers would have just agreed with,
I'm so sorry, I'll put a shirt on next time.
Right. And what Yahweh going to do with a henpecked brother? What are he going to do with them? Brother, I need you to go down here and execute judgment on this town.
Yes, Yahweh, I will go. As long as my wife agrees.
Well, somebody kill this fool. Give me a real servant. Kill this dude, man. Why cumber you the ground? Kill this dude. Come here. Give me the dude sitting next to him. Come here. You don't tell me you're going to go depending on how your wife feel? What kind of servant are you? Now, years ago when my elder died, nothing but wicked rulers proceeded after him. I stood up against some of these wicked leaders, and brothers I had grown up with in the word rose up against me. Years later, I now find those very same individuals on the internet teaching and speaking against the same individuals that I spoke against over a decade ago. It's funny how when other people are assaulted, it must have been something they did wrong. But when they are assaulted, it suddenly becomes real to them. What it actually proves is that these individuals are way too selfish to ever be rulers over Yahweh's people, because they only care about wrongdoing when it happens to them or their loved ones. When King David wrestled a bear and a lion to protect the sheep, it proved what type of man he would become. Most would have walked away and counted those sheep as dead. But a king fights the battles of his Elohim and thus protects the sheep, not just his sheep. Let's go to Acts chapter 23. See, if you're going to speak out against the ruler of your people, you damn well better make sure you crossed your T's and dotted your I's. That's why it says, don't receive an accusation against an elder except before multiple individuals. You damn well better be able to prove that. See, we don't even consider what it is we do. Acts chapter 23, and let's read verses 1 through 5.
And Saul, earnestly beholding the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before Elohim until this day.
Now this upset them. I've lived in good conscience. Go ahead.
And the high priest Ananias commanded them that stood by him to smite him on the mouth. Then said Saul unto him.
Now, he's looking at the deed that was done. He has been smitten on the mouth because he didn't like what he said. But there's law that governs how things are to be done. Go ahead.
Then said Saul unto him, Elohim shall smite you, you whited wall. For sitteth you to judge me after the law, and commandeth me to be smitten contrary to the law?
Now, that has now upset the other people. Go ahead.
And they that stood by said, Revileth you Elohim's high priest?
Now they brought the law back into it. Okay? So understand. You shall not speak evil of the ruler of your people. Now, the ruler has commanded him to be smitten on the mouth, not according to the law. But then he speaks out against the ruler. But listen, he didn't know that was the ruler. Go ahead.
Then said Saul, I knew not, brethren, that he was the high priest. For it is written, you shall not speak evil of the ruler of your people.
It is written, you shall not speak evil of the ruler of your people. So even though he got hit in the mouth, contrary to law, had he known it was the ruler, he would have dealt with that differently. See, we don't even consider anything like that. Once we get upset, we let anything fly out our mouth. When he knew that was the high priest, hey, I knew not that he was the high priest. He didn't try to justify what he did. And that's something that we have to consider. Go ahead, bro.
You know, in the same token, the high priest was supposed to be dressed a certain way.
You right.
I shouldn't have to guess if you're the high priest.
Exactly. You supposed to have on 2 coverings. I should be able to see who the high priest is from way across the way. Go ahead, bro.
So the high priest doing wrong, we just supposed to let Yahweh deal with that then?
Well, it was not necessarily waiting till Yahweh deal with it. Things have to be brought in a certain manner. Okay. Let's say something happens at your job. You don't just jump up on top of the desk and just, I am helped every road. Hey, nah, bro. You finna be at Georgia Department of Labor is where you about to be. All right, you about to be filling out that unemployment sheet. That's what you about to be filling out. You have to know how to bring your grievances in a rightful way. See, that's how that's supposed to be brought. Not saying you whited wall, Elohim shall smite you. He didn't know that was the ruler. Because he wasn't dressed. I mean, say a police come to your house, but he ain't got on no uniform. He knocking on the door. Open this door now. Y'all, I shot him. I didn't know he was no police. He didn't have no badge. I didn't see no police car. All I know is he was beating at my door, telling me he was gonna huff and puff, and he was gonna blow and then at that point he fell down. I didn't let him finish. I didn't know he wasn't no police. Hey, he was not dressed accordingly. So then how do you turn around and judge somebody for doing something, but you were not dressed in the appropriate attire to do that job? You can't tell me that I did something against a police officer. This man in plain clothes. He in a plain car. And when he came to my house, he didn't identify himself as a policeman. Even if he did, I would have still had some problems. Okay. Now, go back and get somebody with a car and come back. Because I'm telling you, you come past here, it ain't going to be pretty for you. Deuteronomy chapter 17, let's read verses 8 through 13.
If there arise a matter too hard for you in judgment, between blood and blood, between plea and plea, and between stroke and stroke, being matters of controversy within your gates, then shall you arise and get you up into the place which Yahweh your El shall choose. And you shall come unto the priests, the Levites, and unto the judge that shall be in those days, and inquire, and they shall show you the sentence of judgment.
Right. This is how things are supposed to be done righteously. When I said there's a way that things are supposed to be handled. Okay? Go ahead.
And you shall do according to the sentence which they of that place which Yahweh shall choose shall show you. And you shall observe to do according to all that they inform you, according to the sentence of the law which they shall teach you, and according to the judgment which they shall tell you. You shall do. You shall not decline from the sentence which they shall show you, to the right hand nor to the left.
But see, we don't want to do things like that. Go ahead.
And the man that will do presumptuously and will not hearken unto the priest that stands to minister there before Yahweh your El, or unto the judge, even that man shall die, and you shall put away the evil from Israel. And all the people shall hear and fear and do no more presumptuously. See,
the beautiful thing about this word is the same word that we have that we deal with civil matters. It's the same law book that we deal with our so-called, as the world would call it, religious practices. All of it is in the same book. So you ought to be able, see, we can't go in today's court system. We don't even understand the language. They got Latin terms. They got all of this stuff that they purposely make it a different language that they are speaking that you don't understand. That system is already unrighteous because you really don't understand the laws that they said you broke. Yahweh makes sure that you understand the laws. So instead of you going, somebody brings something against you and they say, all right, we have a court proceeding, or we have a forum that we're going to have to discuss this particular thing. That person, everybody got their book. You don't need a lawyer. You supposed to be well versed in your own culture to be able to go in here and provide proof for what came out of your mouth or whatever deed that you did. And they have to prove out of the same book that you did something against your culture. It's the same book. So the same book that we're going to take to church is the same book we're going to take to court. They said such and such, we got a forum to deal with this. All right. You got everything? Yep, I got my book and my notes. Let's go. Same book. And if you read out of the book constantly all over your life, then what you need to hire a lawyer for? Go ahead.
You know, even in this case of verse 11, when the sentencing, people will be so upset that they don't even sit down to get understanding, because it says, according to the sentence of the law, which they shall teach you. So when sentencing is handed down, somebody need to explain to you what that sentencing is,
right,
and make sure you fully understand it before we depart.
Right. And we're going to read it out of the same book that you brought here. The same book you got, the same book I got. We're going to read it out of this book so that way you can't say, well, you know, Sock gave me such and such. No. No, we're going to read this together. Let's go to our chapter 13, Deuteronomy 13, and let's read verses 6 through 18.
Verse 6. If your brother, the son of your mother, or your son, or your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend, which is as your own soul, entice you secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods.
Now, your friends or your spouse, they're not going to whisper in your ear and say, let us go serve other gods. What they're going to do is whisper in your ear and give you something that goes contrary to your God. By in doing so, you have then accepted a different God. So don't be sitting around waiting for somebody to come and say, hey, man, let's go here and worship the devil. That's not what they're going to do. They're going to say, you know what, that part in the word that says you can't do this, that's different. That's not how I understand that. See, I understand that like this. That's how they're going to come to you. Eventually, you're going to end up worshiping another God. Go ahead.
Which you have not known, you nor your fathers, namely of the gods of the people which are round about you, near unto you, or far off from you, from the one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. You shall not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall your eye pity him.
And see, we pity all the wrong things. See? Then we want to try to take up for evildoers and believe that we're doing a just thing. Go ahead.
Neither shall you spare, neither shall you conceal him.
And we do all those things. We conceal the wicked. We have a pity on the wicked, but then won't have any of that same pity on the righteous. Go ahead.
But you shall surely kill him. Your hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people.
This is why people don't want to be a witness to something. They want to be neutral, because according to the setup in that law, when you brought something, wasn't no you having a clear conscience and clean hands. No. The first rock get thrown by you. Since you brought this matter, if there's any blood on anybody's hand, first hand gonna be yours. They hand you the first rock. You brought this. Here. You go first. Go ahead.
And you shall stone him with stones that he die, because he has sought to thrust you away from Yahweh your Elohim, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. And all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any such wickedness as this is among you. If you shall hear, say, in one of your cities, which Yahweh your El has given you to dwell there, saying, certain men, the children of Belial, are gone out from among you, and have withdrawn the inhabitants of their city, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which you have not known.
Certain men. So what happened is people gather other people and have gathered the inhabitants of the city. So then they recruit other people to go with them and do this foolishness. See? Misery loves company. So while you think somebody's talking you into something because they're your friend, they're talking you into it because they don't want to be miserable by themselves. Go ahead.
Then shall you inquire, and make search, and ask diligently, and behold, if it be truth, and the thing certain that such abomination is wrought among you, you shall surely smite the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, destroying it utterly, and all that is therein, and the cattle thereof, with the edge of the sword. And you shall gather all the spoil of it into the midst of the street thereof, and shall burn with fire the city, and all the spoil thereof every whit. For Yahweh your El, and it shall be in heap forever. It shall not be built again.
Now, you shall utterly smite the inhabitants, verse 15, of that city with the edge of the sword, destroying it utterly, and all that is therein, and the cattle therein with the edge of the sword. So when we decide that we saw some stuff that we like, and we took it out, now you done brought the cursed thing to your house. This is how you end up bringing in the cursed thing to your house. See, it's wicked. Yahweh commands for that thing to be burnt, but you decide,
You know, I want to keep this. I'm going to put this in my yard. This will be a nice decoration. I just want to put this in my garden, this sun god. And see, that way all my crops will grow if the sun god is right there by my tomatoes.
Go ahead.
And there shall cleave not of the cursed thing to your hand, that Yahweh may turn from the fierceness of his anger and show you mercy, and have compassion upon you, and multiply you, as he has sworn unto your fathers. When you shall hearken to the voice of Yahweh your El, to keep all his commandments, which I command you this day, to do that which is right in the eyes of Yahweh your Elohim.
All right, let's go to Genesis chapter 39. Y'all feel how they playing with this weather? When they stop spraying, you know, they having a real problem. They can't even sing their song. Why, Grandma? They can't even do it. It's 70 degrees outside.
Brother, you heard about the 120-mile winds coming across from out west?
Hey, they already done started spraying. You can see half of the sky clear. It was completely clear yesterday. Then you see them planes get to spraying, and then them little lines keep, because they crisscross them. Then they spread out and they cover everything. Before you know it, it's 10, 12, 13 degrees colder than it was the day before. If you stand out there, you can feel the ice hitting you. Ain't raining, ain't nothing. But see, that's what they spraying in the clouds. All that aluminum and all that stuff, man, that stuff eventually fall down. Why y'all think half of us keep getting sick? What the hell are they spraying? And it's instantly colder. Sooner or later, the earth gonna strike back. Genesis 39, let's start that at verse 1.
And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither.
Now, when you talk about a situation of Yahweh controlling a situation that seems absolutely horrible, Joseph was thrown in the pit by his own brothers, then sold to be a slave by his own brother. Now, they were gonna kill him. This was a consolation prize. Because one brother said, look, don't kill him. Let's just sell him. So being sold as a slave was the good part, because they was going to kill him. And Yahweh's still in control of the whole situation. Because Yahweh need to get this gift over here. See, that gift, his gift of being able to interpret dreams, does him no good around a bunch of brothers who hate his guts. Because they sick of these dreams. They are sick of him and his dreams. Then they got to work harder than him. Go ahead.
And Yahweh was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master the Egyptian.
Now he's still prosperous, even among being in bondage. Go ahead.
And his master saw that Yahweh was with him, and that Yahweh made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him.
Now consider this. Even the wicked understand if they are dealing with a blessed individual. Even though they have more money and power than that individual, they recognize that they are dealing with a blessed individual. This is a wicked man, but he realizes, hey, God is with this dude right here. Everything I've given this dude, he does it. It works out for me because he's here. Go ahead.
And he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had he put in his hand. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that Yahweh blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of Yahweh was upon all that he had in the house and in the field.
Right. It matters who you have working for you. But see, what people will say, God has blessed me. Now God blessed that dude working for you. He's not really blessing you. He blessing that dude. He need for you to see that he with that dude. So you be careful how you treat that dude. Go ahead.
And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph. And she said, lie with me. But he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master knows not what he has. My master knows not what is with me in the house, and he has committed all that he has to my hand. There's none greater in this house than I. Neither has he kept back anything from me but you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against Elohim? And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her or to be with her.
Now, he said sin against, do this great sin. Where's the law? Ain't no commandments been handed down. There's certain things that are understood and implied. See, man, this would be a great sin for me to turn around and be with you, and you married to somebody else. Go ahead.
You know, also you can see the attraction of being in charge or power. Because what he said, there's none greater in this house than I. So now she attracted the power he got. Because he really run things, not the husband.
Well, the husband done put him in charge. And as it says, he was well favored and goodly to look to. So he was a good looking brother. So he's a good looking brother. And now he's in charge of all these things. And now she said, I gotta have him. Go ahead.
And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men in the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house and spake unto them, saying, see, he is brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice.
Now, I want to read y'all this. This is why I like to have study Bibles, and you look at part of a note that was written there. It says, the base affection of this woman being disappointed was changed into rancorous hatred, and she exalts into the opportunity of being revenged on yourself. She begins her accusation in the affected language of offended modesty, rage, and disdain by charging her husband, whom we may reasonably assume she did not greatly love, with being an accessory to the indignity she pretended to have received. He has brought in a Hebrew, a very abomination to an Egyptian, to mock us, insult and treat me in a base, unworthy manner, is what she meant by to mock us. But you also notice she has now included the men. He has mocked us. why was she able to pull the men in? Understand. What did he just say? There's none in the house greater. The Hebrew has come up above the other Egyptians. So the slickness of this woman, she is now using that he has been promoted over them to get them to agree with her and help tell this lie. See, you got to notice the slick subtleties of deception. See, this is her own twisted desire that she wants this man. And now, because she can't get the man, now her love for him has turned into hatred. You pay attention, the same thing happen around here. Just pay attention. Somebody's twisted imagination that they can have something. When they can't have it, now it turns into hatred. This man's going to walk in righteousness. You can't have that. Brothers do the same thing. Watch a brother in the mall try to talk to a sister. Hey, how you doing, sweetie? Oh, you look so good. I'm sorry, I'm not interested. We'll bump you then. What happened? What happened? She didn't like him, so now all the so-called love he had turned into hatred. You can watch it on both sides. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her until his master came home. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, the Hebrew servant which you have brought unto us came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out.
All the fabrication. See, she upset because she want to feel the power, but he won't let her. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, after this manner did your servant to me, that his wrath was kindled.
His wrath was already kindled. He had absolutely no checking of the matter. See, several times I've heard, I believe my wife. You just believe her because she said it? Where was your diligent inquiry? Where did you go and question anybody else? All right, who else was in this situation? Show me who. Let me talk to him. Let me talk to this person. Let me talk to these other people. Let me see. Hey, does this person seem like the kind of individual that would do such and such? No. Once she said it, he believed it. See, a lot of brothers believe they run their house. But if you got slick deception running you, you ain't running your house running you. So now he is, I mean, furious. Now he seen that Elohim was with the man. He put the man in charge. But all she had to say was, he came in to mock me. You know how many brothers in prison because somebody claimed they was raped? 2 o'clock in the morning at somebody else's house. He tried to rape me. Why in the hell was you over his house at 2 o'clock in the morning again?
We was just, there for tea and crumpets.
Right. Go ahead.
And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound.
Now, this is something y'all probably miss. He was put in the prison where the king's people were bound. Because he was over this man's house, he went to a certain type of jail. Now, some of y'all might not, because y'all ain't never been to jail. All jails ain't the same. There's some jails that you might see a brother and they say, I sentence you to 36 months. And the brother head go down and they say, in this jail. And the brother be like, yay! They like, why is he happy? Because he like, oh no, that's a good jail. See, I done been to a bad one before. Oh no, that's a good one. See, you don't know no better. You just think a jail is a jail. No, some of them are like hell, and then the other part is the place that's under hell. See, but see, if you think all jails are the same, you just think, all right, he went to prison. No. There's some that other prisoners don't even want to go. Oh, no, don't send me there. I tell you what, I'll do 4 more years if you send me over here. Oh, no. So understand, this part you might miss. He went to a special jail. Okay? Go ahead.
And he was there in prison. But Yahweh was with Yosef and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Yosef's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because Yahweh was with him, and that which he did, Yahweh made it to prosper. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their master, the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was angry against 2 of his officers, against the chief of the butlers and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard into the prison, the place where Yosef was bound. And the captain of the guard charged Yosef with them, and he served them, and they continued a season in ward. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night. Each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison.
Where you at, bro?
Genesis chapter 40 and verse 5.
All right, we missed something here. Now, if you pay attention, we should be on graphic 16. I skipped something here. When we elevated this position from deacons to priests, we'll find something that Yahweh began to cause some real separation in dealing with those that were not worthy of priesthood or would not stand in the priesthood the way they were supposed to, as it is written. If a man knows not how to handle his own house, how can he handle the house of Elohim? And when you look back at all the most recent situations of displacement, they are all rooted in individuals who refuse to discipline their wives or children for wrongdoing. Otherwise, all of your actions appear as hypocrisy because those ideals are never put in motion into their own houses. When you consider this situation, once the woman brought forth this whole supposed thing of wrongdoing, he just automatically believed her. There was no testing. There was no dealing with any other thing. It was all about what she said. I believe her. And that is a problem when it comes down to dealing with things in righteousness, because now an innocent man has been thrown in prison. Go ahead. Now let's go to back to graphic 17. Go ahead, brother.
Genesis chapter 40 verse 6. And Yosef came in unto them in the morning and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his master's house, saying, Wherefore look you so sadly today? And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there's no interpreter of it. And Yosef said unto them, Do not interpretations belong to Elohim? Tell me them, I pray you. And the chief butler told his dream to Yosef and said to him, In my dream, behold, a vine was before me.
Now understand, had he not been put in this jail, none of this was possible. See, what we would look at is, man, the devil done got me locked up. No, he needs to be in this jail. Without being the servant of a high-ranking man, he would have never gone to this jail. See, that's what we don't consider. There's country club jails. See, there's jails where you find the Bernie Madoffs of the world. You know, they go to a jail and they be playing golf. We go to jail and we busting rocks. It ain't the same jail. They at a jail where their wife done spent the night. Hey, where she come from? Hey, did she come in yesterday? No, they got different kind of jails. So don't fool yourself when somebody else gets some time and think they doing the same time that our folks did. They ain't doing the same kind of time. They on the internet. You trying to figure out how I get an email from him in jail. How the hell I get an email, huh? We used to get them phone calls. You are getting a call from an inmate in a correctional facility. Please press 1 to continue. This call will be $19.99. Hell no! I ain't gonna wait. Hey! Don't drop the soap. I hope it work out. Hell no. I'm not paying for that call. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 10. And in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up your head and restore you onto your place.
Now, understand something. Even in the other man's house, this does not come to him. See, he has to go to jail for this. Because he's got to get to specific servants. He's the servant of this man's house. But he's not close to the ultimate ruler's house. This is what Yahweh used to get him there. Go ahead.
And you shall deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand after the former manner when you was his butler.
And believe it or not, the butler is very close. Being amongst the Pharaoh's house, there's a whole lot that he has the ability to do. Go ahead.
But think on me when it shall be well with you, and show kindness, I pray you, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon.
And you know, people don't want to listen like, you know, everybody in jail say they're innocent. You know, so ain't nobody paying him no attention. Sure you didn't. You're right. Go ahead.
When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. And in the uttermost basket there was of all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, This is the interpretation thereof. The 3 basket are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift your head from off you, and shall hang you on a tree, and the birds shall eat your flesh from off you. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again. And he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him.
Now, we need to consider some things. Now, several members of our congregation had dreams of me returning home. 2 sisters had dreams while I was gone. One was about a sister coming to apologize to me, and another sister had a dream about a different sister coming against me aggressively. Both of those dreams came true when I got out of the hospital. When you consider some things, I watched a brother stand up like a man in his house and force the demon out of his house. He instructed his wife to apologize to everyone she offended, including me. No one told him to do that, yet he knew that it needed to be done. And because he stood up and did what he needed to do, all those duties, as of today, his wife is able to resume. When it comes down to standing the way that we are supposed to stand, if the adversary can run amok in your house and no man stands up, he's going to keep doing it. At some point, somebody has to stand up instead of just agreeing with what's going on. Let's go to Micah chapter 7.
950.
Micah chapter 7, and let's read verses 1 through 6.
Woe is me, for I am as when they have gathered the summer fruits, as the great gleanings of the vintage. There is no cluster to eat. My soul desired the first ripe fruit. The good man is perished out of the earth, and there is none upright among men. They all lie in wait for blood. They hunt every man his brother with a net, that they may do evil with both hands earnestly. The prince acts, and the judge acts for a reward. And the great man, he utters his mischievous desire. So they wrap it up. The best of them is as a briar. The most upright is sharper than a thorn hedge. The day of your watchman and your visitation comes. Now shall be their perplexity. Trust you not in a friend.
Trust you not in a friend. Once you have allowed things to go on so long, now comes the righteous judgment of Yahweh, and now it's going to be some issues. Trust you not in a friend. Go ahead.
Put you not confidence in a guide. Keep the doors of your mouth from her that lies in your bosom.
Keep the doors of your mouth from her that lies in your bosom. And that's what get us in trouble sometimes, that pillow talk. See, you talking too much. See, in some of those same situations where because I waited, it gave a brother an opportunity to stand up in this house. But that took 7 months. There were certain things that I couldn't go home and tell my wife, my family, my kids, because I want them, when they get ready to greet, a person, I don't want them to know all of the things that I know, because I'm giving, them time to fix their situation. But if I go home and tell all that business, now when that sister come and try to get them a shalom, now they got a problem. See, certain things you need to learn to keep to yourself until you are able to work them things out. Now, what happened if I ran my mouth and then folks felt some kind of way? Would it then hinder them people from getting to the point of repenting? All because you offering too much pillow talk. Go ahead.
For the son dishonors the father, the daughter rise up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and man's enemies are the men of his own house.
And when somebody entertain another spirit, it don't matter who you think they are. It's that spirit that is your enemy, not that physical person. And as long as they are still entertaining that spirit, they are your enemy. Are you able to look at somebody you love and recognize them as your enemy while they are entertaining that spirit? Go ahead.
That was it, verse 6.
All right. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 20.
Second Kings chapter 20, verse 1. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and the prophet Esaac, the son of Amoz, came to him, and said unto him, Thus says Yahweh, set your house in order, for you shall die and not live. Then he turned his face to the wall, and prayed unto Yahweh, saying, I beseech you, O Yahweh, remember now how I have walked before you in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in your sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. And it came to pass, afore Esaias was gone out into the middle of the court, that the word of Yahweh came to him, saying, Turn again and tell Hezekiah, the captain of my people, Thus says Yahweh, the El of David your father, I have heard your prayer, I have seen your tears. Behold, I will heal you. On the third day you shall go up onto the house of Yahweh.
Right. So then he 1 minute he is hearing that he's about to die. The next thing is, okay, I've heard your prayer. What if he just took it and just decided he was just gonna keep crying and just go on and die in peace? But he cried unto his Elohim. Go ahead.
But you see when he did it right away. The man on his way out, he done prophesied, hey, you dead. On his turn back and go.
Yeah, turn back. You know what that was? Look, he's judging himself. He's coming before me. I tell you what, I repent of what I was about to do. Go ahead.
And I add on to your days 15 years.
15 years. That was an awesome prayer. You about to die today, and you don't get, all right, look, I'm going to give you 15 days. I give you 15 more days. 15 years? Go ahead.
And I'll deliver you and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and I'll defend this city for mine own sake and for my servant Dawid's sake. And Isaiah said, take a lump of figs, and they took and laid it on the boil, and he recovered.
Now, check this out. He tells him that he's going to be recovered, but he don't do no magical act. Hey, go get the figs, go do this, and then I'm going to cause you to be healed. So even when Yahweh heals you, there's a natural part and a spiritual part. We either do one or the other. We have a problem doing both. The first part was praying unto Yahweh. The second part was, okay, now go get the figs and put it on the boil. Other people might have put figs on the boil. It didn't work that way for them. Other people might have prayed to Yahweh. It didn't work that way for them. You do both things. Go ahead.
And Hezekiah said unto Isaiah, what shall be the sign that Yahweh will heal me, and that I shall go up into the house of Yahweh the third day? And Isaiah said, the sign shall you have of Yahweh, that Yahweh will do the thing that he has spoken. Shall the shadow go forward 10 degrees or go back 10 degrees? And Hezekiah answered, it is a light thing for the shadow to go down 10 degrees. No, but let the shadow return backward 10 degrees. And Isaiah the prophet cried unto Yahweh, and he brought the shadow 10 degrees backward, by which it had gone down in the dial of Ahaz.
By which it had gone down in the dial of Ahaz. So we're talking about the sun and time. So I always ask people, how does Enoch's calendar account for when Yahweh changes something on the fly? Show me that in your pre-made calendar. Show me how you account for these changes. Because Enoch's calendar is supposed to be way before this, right? So, how did it account for the time change? So now Yahweh can't be Yahweh. He got to follow Enoch's rule. So who God then? Enoch is. Go ahead.
At that time, Berodach-Baladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present unto Hezekiah, for he had heard that Hezekiah had been sick. And Hezekiah hearkened unto them, and showed them all the house of his precious things, the silver, and the gold, and the spices, and the precious ointment, and all the house of his armor, and all that was found in his treasures. There was nothing in his house, nor in all his dominion, that Hezekiah showed them not.
Now, he was probably a little bit too happy about being given 15 years, because he probably shouldn't have showed all of this. You know, see, this is that thing, you know, where Yahweh allows some things to happen, but you can't remember, forget your charge. You still the king that fights Yahweh's battles. You still have to stand in that. You can't be so happy that he has given you another chance and now you just weep. Go ahead.
Then came Isaiah the prophet unto King Hezekiah, and said unto him, what said these men? And from whence came they unto you? And Hezekiah said, they're come from a far country, even from Babylon. And he said, what have they seen in this house, in your house? And Hezekiah answered, all the things that are in mine house have they seen.
All the things in my house. You know you got friends you won't even show all the things in your house. Much less some strangers. You know some of your friends ain't right. You stop them right at the foyer. Stop. No, I'll be out. I'll be out. Because you know when they looking all around your house. Man, what the hell are you looking for? I know you ain't never been here, but you keep looking like you left something. What are you looking for? Trying to size up the windows? Will that TV fit out of that window? Yeah, you need to get the hell out of here. You need to go. And that time when your mamas tell you, well, your friends came by, let them in here. Which friends?
Okay.
You let them where? Where all they went? They came in the family room. Oh, mama, you done got us robbed. You should have let them stand outside. Good God. How many of them was it? Mama, you have made a grave mistake. You shouldn't. These are not the kind of dudes that you let see what's in your house. Go ahead.
There's nothing among my treasures that I have not showed them.
Uh-huh.
And Isaiah said unto Hezekiah, hear the word of Yahweh. Behold, the days come that all that is in your house and that which your fathers have laid up in store unto this day shall be carried into Babylon. Nothing shall be left, said Yahweh. And of your sons that shall issue from you, which you shall beget, shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. Then said Hezekiah unto Isaiah, good is the word of Yahweh which you have spoken. And he said, is it not good if peace and truth be in my days? And the rest of the acts of Hezekiah and all his might, and how he made a pool and a conduit and brought water into the city, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Yehudah? And Hezekiah slept with his fathers, and Manasseh his son reigned in his stead.
Well, then there's some things that we have to look at, or one thing that I would like to go into. Let's go to Exodus chapter 4 in dealing with how he received this information. When he gets this, he's being talked to by the prophet, but then he asks, what is the sign of my healing? And this is something that has caused Israel some serious issues. Okay? This is something that has caused Israel some serious issues looking for signs. Exodus chapter 4, and let's read verses 1 through 9. This is the last thing that we're going to read today. Exodus 4, and let's read, I'll start at verse 1.
And Moshe answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, Yahweh has not appeared unto you.
So then, all of this now is there for Israel's unbelief. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto him, what is that in your hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moshe fled from before it.
Moshe ran when it turned to a snake. This was because Israel seeks after a sign. See, it is written in the New Testament, 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 22, for the Jews require a sign, but the Gentiles, the Greeks, seek after wisdom. See, Israel got to have a sign. If the prophet done already told you, the prophet that told you that you were going to die, then you pray and the prophet turn around and tell you Yahweh said you're going to live. Why would you ask for a sign after that? Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, put forth your hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand.
And you got to have faith to grab a snake by the tail. You know, the only way you grab a snake, if you're going to grab it, you better grab the head. Yahweh tests his faith by even grab it by the tail. Now, I'm not a very intelligent man, but I know you don't grab no snake by the tail, Yahweh. That's not wise. You grab this thing by the tail, it wrap around your hand and bite you. Go ahead.
That they may believe that Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, the El of Abraham, the El of Esaac, and the El of Jacob has appeared unto you.
Now, understand how Yahweh is dealing with this. He says, they not going to believe me. Well, I need to make sure you believe me. Grab the snake by the tail. No, you said that they not going to believe you. All right. I'm finna test whether it's your unbelief or their unbelief. Grab the snake by the tail. There's certain things you can hear and know that it's not really a good situation. That you say, Yahweh, they ain't gonna believe me. All right, Esaac, pour that gas in that container, step in it and light the match. What? I'm sorry, y'all. I won't ask you no more questions. I'm not asking you no more questions. What time you want me to go down there? Go ahead.
And Yahweh said furthermore unto him, Put now your hand into your bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow.
Now, at this point, he is gravely unclean. So, well, he might wanted to run away from the snake. Now he want to run away from himself. Go ahead.
And he said, Put your hand into your bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe you, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hearken unto your voice, that you shall take of the water of the river, and pour it upon the dry land. And the water which you taketh out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land.
All of this is given for a sign unto Israel, because Israel has a issue with believing things if they don't see something. So Yahweh allows some things to happen so that he can show who he has chosen to do a job. That who he has placed his spirit upon when it comes down to that. You know, when you look at some of the things that happened to Hezekiah, you see after he was healed, he turned into, he got a little weak. And I know coming from the hospital, some of y'all thought, you know, I know I came home, I was talking a little slow, you know, and I know I looked like Super Grover when I got out. You know, I had done lost them 46 pounds. I know some of y'all was tripping. I know y'all was tripping. So y'all think this brother ain't gonna do his job, you know? Cause I done came home. Hello, boys and girls. Shabbat shalom. Yay! You know, I know y'all thought, but you know what? Hey, couple weeks, brother got it together and it was back to the job. You understand? And I have to wonder if Yahweh let a few things happen to either prove to me or to prove to y'all if whether or not I was going to stand up and do this job. Because it was some things that happened as soon as I got out in my weakest state. But I had a teacher, and he did this job to the best of his ability all the days of his life. That was my example. So until I can't breathe, I'm going to do this job to the best of my ability. That's all that we're going to do for today. Shabbat shalom!
Shalom.